Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the first round of boxing here at the Victory Sport Productions. It's Ongepotse Tshela versus Fanie Masilo. It's scheduled for 4 rounds here. We're here at Don Mateman Hall in Aldo's. Beautiful afternoon. Very hot weather. Couple of spectators starting to fill up slowly. This is a junior flyweight fight. Very nice. Fanie Masilo looking very, very good. Very sophisticated. Fanie is in the black trunks. Lovely jab. Very close and tight. Needs to select his punches a little bit more, Fanie. But his movement's good. Hayden, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, it looks like a frantic start from the two guys. Two very, very small guys for the weight division, even at junior flyweight. Tshela's in the red trunks and Masilo in the black trunks. Very, very small guys for the weight division. We have a guest commentator here today, Joshua Stadat. Joshua, you know Tshela. You went to school with him. Can you tell us a little bit more about him?
Yeah, Tshela is actually a very timid guy all these years, you know. Like, thing about Tshela, he never actually was a fighting type in high school. I was always a ruffian. And when I started fighting, I inspired him to box, and we had this talk before. I think he made his pro debut in 2012. And he took a bit of a break because he lost that fight. He went on to do nursing and stuff, but he came back now. So I think he's not too bad, but I think just needs a bit more of experience. And I think the time out, you could see some ring rust right now, because he's not really setting up those punches nicely, you know, where you throw the jab, it doesn't land, and you throw an override, you know, in the middle of the ring, where you'd actually have to back the guy up against the rope for those punches to land. But I think Masilo is actually looking like one of the stronger fighters between the two, you know. And it looks like it's going to be a good fight. It's just experience. They just need to get more experience, and I think they become good fighters. Especially Masilo looks very strong for his size. He's very tiny, but he looks very strong right now.
Have you done any sparring with Tshela?
Tshela, no, I've never sparred with him before. Also, size-wise, I don't think his trainer would allow us to spar, but I've never sparred with him before. We had like once in class where I brought my glass to school, and then we sparred, but I ended up beating up the whole class because you're like the only guy who's actually trained to fight, and other guys are just out there throwing punches, you know. But that's what we did. Like we had like lots of fun together in class. So yeah.
Okay. End of round 1. I'd say we have to shave that to Masilo. He's definitely looking the aggressor out of the two and landing the cleaner punches.
Yeah, definitely, Aiden. Fanie Masilo looking very sophisticated. I'd love to know what his amateur boxing record was. He looks like he comes from a good background. He's very calm, collective, selects his punches very nicely. I think the second round's going to hold something very good. I would like for Tshela to lift his hand up a bit more. You can see he's got that amateur style where his palms face to the floor. He must lift his hands up a little bit higher. He's going to get caught with an uppercut or a left hook. I've been seeing Fanie trying to set him up for that on the inside, but he's definitely beating him to the jab, Definitely beating him to the jab.
Definitely, like I can't agree with you more. I think that Masilo was more balanced and composed in the first round, you know, and threw the heavier punches and cleaner punches also.
Okay, round number 2 begins. Let's see what this has to produce for us. Both guys coming out with some heavy punches there. Oh, these guys want to bang it out. Looks like some action. The corners obviously got in there and gave them the instruction to come out with some intent.
Oh, definitely. Masilo's coming out hard, strong.
These boys are going to learn eventually later in their careers that, yes, your coach is going to teach you a lot, your coach is going to tell you a lot, but one thing at the end of the day, you're by yourself in the ring. And to listen to your coach and go out all out in 4 rounds like this, is a big risk taker. You get caught with wild punches like this. You must go out there, fight your own fight, stick behind the jab, take your time and select your punches for all 4 rounds. That's how you win a fight. But mixing it up like that is just asking for problems.
We saw it the other night actually with Francis Matika against, what's this guy? Etienne Paniekirk. And one guy was composed, the other guy was wild.
Landed there, straight light-handed, very nice. I think it looked like it hurt Tshela there a bit.
Yeah, Ongepotse, his legs are rubber right now. You can see he's trying to just gain life back into him, into his legs. Yeah. There, when you know a fight has been hurt, and looks at the corner for help.
This is where Fanie must now just select his jabs, keep him behind the jabs. He's trying to hit too hard still. He needs to select his punches. There's the uppercut I was telling you about. He needs to select his punches. He needs to just be more calm and relaxed. But this is experience at the end of the day.
And I think Masilo is doing a good job because he's not just rushing into him. He's actually banging him and then stepping back. So if any one punches come, they fall short. Look at him. Go back and he comes back in. So he's doing a good job. I think that is very beautiful what he's doing. His speed is actually hurt right now. And I actually expected more. I actually hoped he could perform and win this fight because he's like a good friend of mine. You know, we've got like that relationship. So I was really looking forward for Ongepotse win tonight.
He's coming back slightly now, is Tshela.
Yeah.
Looks like, but it's just not enough to win the round.
Definitely.
I just think Masilo has got too much this round. These guys are both small guys, but Masilo does have a little bit of a size advantage if you notice.
Definitely. And Masilo looks like he's breathing a bit heavy right now. He's not throwing as much punch. I think he gassed himself out in the first 2 rounds.
Definitely. What do you think, Ash?
Tshela's dropping his hands a bit too much. Dropping your hands with experience, that comes with experience. I think he shouldn't be dropping his hands in a fight like this, especially in a 4-rounder. A lot of punches are getting thrown. If you look at Masilo, hands are up. Tshela attacked him now. His hands are up. He's got good defense. He's holding on to now. Ref breaking them, and it's going to go back to it now. Masilo's going to select his punches, hit his jab, and beat him to it.
Nice.
But his hands are dropped, and he got hit with another straight right. His hands are just not up, even there on the inside. Hands are not up, and he's throwing them wild, getting caught with very, very hard punches, and it's going to weigh him down. By the 3rd and 4th round, it might not even go the distance.
Definitely, I couldn't agree with you more, Ash. And I think that I actually was looking at the fight right now. It looked like Masilo was coming back right now, right? But Masilo, I think he just took a bit of a breather, you know. But what I agree with you is not to rush yourself out and gas yourself out by just throwing wild punches. But it comes with experience when you drop your hands. You know, when your hands are down, you can actually block shots with your shoulders and slip them. But if you're unable to do that, don't drop your hands that much because you're going to get caught with stupid punches. And something you don't want in a fight like this.
I think some guys, they spar 4-6 rounds and they think it's going to be like that in the ring, and then they come at you, the nerves kills the energy, and 2 rounds in, they're huffing and puffing already.
Exactly.
That I fully agree with, Hayden. Coming back to experience again, I know guys that have sparred with the best in the game and have had their pro debuts and they look like they've had 32 fights. And experience is everything. The thing is, the problem with these guys is they clearly have had sparring, but not enough of it. Not enough experience and quality sparring. You can just see it. That's why I say Masilo looks like he's had a bit of it at least. He's got a bit of sophistication. Hands up, left hooks are nice, uppercuts are very tight.
Body punches.
His foot movement's also good. Look, he's a little bit wide here and there. He makes a bit of mistakes here and there, but for a 4-rounder, for a fight like this, I think it's quite good.
Definitely, he's very balanced and very composed. He knows when to step back and take a breather. Because, like, especially in front of a crowd, nerves play a very important role, and then people forget to breathe. Fighters forget to breathe, and I think that's a very important thing, to step back and remember to breathe and feed your muscles with oxygen that it needs. You know.
And guys, tell me something. How important is a gum shield? Because I'm looking at Masilo's gum shield. It looks like it's coming out of his mouth almost. It's a big gum shield. Is that not restricting his breathing?
I think so. I think that's why it's almost coming out, because he's struggling to breathe. It looks like a dual mouth guard with top and bottom, so I think that could be restricting his breathing a bit. So also one thing, like when my mouth guard is made by was a Chai dental practice. Those guys actually molded mine perfectly, and what it does is it helps when you fight and you get landed with big shots. It distributes it distributes that shock across your jaw evenly, and instead of placing it on one point, and that's what knocks you out, you know. So that's very important. These mouth guards, I think, don't really help that much, and it's very dangerous for your mouth guard to be basically out of your mouth like he is, and you can see struggling to breathe right now.
Yeah, I agree. When you're gonna do this kind of sport, I think you must do it right. like Josh saying, you must go to dental practice, get a gum guard made properly. I think it's 800-900 rand. There's a lot of dental practitioners that actually come out to you and sort you out with a proper gum guard. That stuff in the shops is not the right thing to do.
Definitely.
It's you put in boiling hot water, put it in your mouth, and you just bite down. It's really it's not the right thing. It doesn't do no. Yeah, it's not good for you. Thing is also now, if Masilo gets caught with a good straight hand or hard left hook, he's going to lose some teeth. He could lose some teeth if the knuckle goes through that 8-ounce glove and lands good on the jaw or the tooth. Definitely going to lose a tooth.
And what happens is, especially on the bottom of the chin, it's not biting down on the gum guard. What happens is a twist in the jaw, and that causes block circulation from the spinal cord to the brain. You know, and that's what knocks you off. That's the punch that puts you to sleep.
Okay, but now whose responsibility is this? Is it the boxer's responsibility or the trainer's responsibility?
Definitely trainer also, but boxer, look, you can't judge the boxer, yeah.
Exactly.
As a trainer, you practicing something to teach a fighter. What is a fighter? A fighter guy comes from a street, comes from a hard background. He wants to box. He wants to make a better living.
Exactly.
Got a lot of aggression. He doesn't know nothing. He knows how to get in there, get a fight going. He knows how to bleed. He knows how to get hit. You know. But you ask him about a gum guard, he didn't even know about it 2 weeks ago before he started training. Do you see what I'm saying? He came to fight. So now, for me personally, the trainers in this game, he needs to know that to protect his boxers need that. You know what I mean? Definitely the trainer's job.
I agree with Ash because most fighters aren't educated, you know. You come from the streets looking to get a better life with best way you know how is to fight. And most of them aren't fortunate enough to go and get a tertiary education or secondary for that matter, you know. So I think trainers should do research, proper research, and actually there should be, how can I put this, courses in place and workshops for these trainers to actually get the best for their fighters. And I think most of these fighters suffer because of the trainers' lack of knowledge of boxing. That's my opinion.
I mean, it goes to show how important a trainer is. Let's be honest. You need to pick a good camp if you're going to start boxing. You can't just walk into any gym and trust anyone. You got to really have a look around and source out a good trainer and make that decision.
Definitely. If you look at the Colin Nathans, Errol Brad, Warren Ali, those type of trainers, these people know boxing and they make sure you get the best out of it, you know. Your preparation is on point, your food, your everything is sorted out, from your gear to your mouth guard to your shoes, everything must be on point. Where other trainers think, this is rubbish, that's just old school training, you know, where that is actually what kills fighters, in my opinion. Even when fighters are reducing weight, it can become very dangerous when a trainer doesn't know what he's doing. These guys come from old school where things were done differently. But remember, everything evolves, everything grows, everything changes. You must change with time, I believe.
Yeah, science.
Yeah.
Anything to add on that?
No, I have to agree with exactly what Josh's saying there. Definitely right, eh? I'm looking at Masilo, yeah. He's looking very, very, very nice and sophisticated. Checking his punches, checking his balance, his style, his ring craft, selecting nicely, moving nicely. Now he's on the back foot, jumps a bit with a couple of punches. I don't like the way he jumps into a punch here. He already shows that he wants to hit. That's why he's falling into a jab sometimes here and there. But he's using the ring. Good. By the looks of his legs, it doesn't look like he's got fatigue. It looks like he's just starting to use the ring now. I think he knows his head on points.
Just talking about boxing equipment, it's nice to see that they both actually have boxing boots on, because sometimes you do find that some people do wear running shoes or no shoes. So, I mean, this is good at least from that point.
Looking at the community that we're in, I think that there's a lot of support for the boxers in this community. And I think it's up for trainers, especially with the guys that don't have the capital for gear, to go to community and ask for sponsorships, you know. 10 rand by 100 people is a lot of money, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It's a full kit bag, you know. It's just leverage. It's just who you speak to and how you speak to them at the end of the day. I mean, if you want a South African champion, if you're a trainer and you're coming from Aldo's and you want to be there on the top, it's a decision. That's all it is. You've got to get up and make that decision to do it, you know?
You know, Ash, I grew up in this place.
Yeah.
Seriously, like up until the age of 12, 13, and I left Aldo's. This place is like my hometown, so to come back here and actually see people coming out, okay, it's not big numbers, but people actually coming out to support the sport of boxing, you know. It's really touching. And
left
one
hook straight right.
one more thing,
Nice left hook there.
definitely. And one more thing, coming back to the shoes, those boxing boots. When you're fighting in running shoes, what happens is in this ring, you could sprain your ankle if your shoes a bit too high. So it's good to see that they're actually coming in with boxing boots.
And
you
it
know?
works the calves.
Yeah,
Starts to
definitely.
burn the calf because you're not flat-footed now. So the canvas is already a bit flat. It's got a bit of play. You know, for when a boxer gets knocked out or something like that, it needs to have that play. It can't be a solid floor.
Oh, Masilo hurt him. Masilo caught Ongepotse with a straight
punch was
1-2.
that?
A 1-2 with the right hand hurt him. He nearly went down. But it looked like it was more fatigue than anything else, you know?
This is where
Oh.
Tshela needs to put his hands up.
Yeah,
And it's a decision. I have it a shutout.
yeah. I think
4-0.
Masilo won each and every round of this fight, you know?
It'll be interesting to see how the judges have it, but I would be shocked if anyone gave
Different, yeah.
Tshela around there.
Yeah, I didn't see him winning any of these rounds.
From the get-go, Masilo.
Definitely.
Who's winning this fight right now? And they're going to announce the scorecards now.
This should be a majority decision on Fanie Masilo.
Unanimous.
Yes, majority. Oh, man.
It's a unanimous decision, 39-37 on all three judges' scorecards. And the deserved winner has won the fight.
These guys aren't your weight, eh?
Fanie Masilo. Let's see what he has to do in the future.